Welcome everyone, this is Lolly, and in this video we will take a look at a couple of advanced tips for Arx Fatalis, and we will cover a couple of things that have been left out from the Arx Fatalis crash course video. Also, if you haven't watched that video, then please go over there and watch that video first, because here I will assume that you are already familiar with the basics of the game.
Anuk should have been the king.
Okay, so I've taken a look at the comments of previous videos, and you guys have wrote a good couple of valuable tips, and I'm going to try and demonstrate a couple of them together with my own tips, and hopefully it will be useful to you guys. So, without any particular order, let's start by taking a look at how magic works. I didn't mention that when you are drawing runes, I already picked up the two basic starting runes that you have. If you click any of the runes, then it will show it on the left side of the page. Click them and you will see how to draw them. So once again, if you stand next to something that can be ignited, which in this case this fireplace is, hold down the control. I will assume throughout the whole video that you have the basic control settings and basic key bindings in the game. So the basic key is control, hold it down, and afterwards left mouse button down, draw a horizontal line, and you will get your first rune after you let go of the mouse. So the speed to how you draw the runes doesn't really matter. You can draw it quickly, slowly. You can draw it a little slanted like so, and most of the time the game will recognize it, but keep in mind that the game is looking for straight lines. So for the second rune, you need to draw 3 lines in this U shape, and please keep an eye out for straight lines. So if I want to draw the correct runes, then a simple straight horizontal line going from left to right, and then a line down. Don't let up the mouse yet. Go to the right direction. Keep the line as straight as possible. And again, still holding it down, move your mouse up. And then you can let go of your mouse, and then it will become yolk. And here you go. You have drawn a nice spell. Another thing that you can use for practicing drawing runes is that if you hold down the shift key, because if you fail to draw a correct spell, then you cannot store it later. So I'm holding down the control and the shift key. And then yoke. And I'm going to let up only the control, but I'm still holding the shift. And now I can let up the shift key, and if the spell was correctly recognized, then you will see here at my cursor at the bottom left hand screen that there's a recognized spell that you can activate later with pressing number 1 on your key. And something started cooking. Very nice. So one thing that I constantly fail to memorize is that this rune is not STREGNUM, even though that there's a letter N on this rune, but it's simply STREGUM. And even if this containing a diagonal line, it's still 3 straight lines. STREGUM. It will be used for magic-related spells. Another thing is that you have this round-shaped KAOM rune that I just gave myself through cheating, because demonstrational purposes. Take a look that it looks round, but actually how the game recognizes this is something like horizontal line, diagonal, vertical, diagonal again, and horizontal line. And that's KAOM. Or you can just go like this, and probably the game will do a good job in recognizing that mess you are drawing into something that is an actual rune. And yes, another tip for rune recognition is that please download and install Arx Libertatis, because rune recognition have been improved tremendously in that mod. Alright, another thing, and the main reason I'm standing here in this location, goes to fighting enemies which tend to be a bit stronger than you expect. So I don't want to fight with Mr. Spider here. I will just lure him over the fireplace, and while he's marching behind me, let me show you that if I go over the fire, then it will damage me. Notice that I'm getting the red blinking. Did he seriously lost me? Hey buddy, hello. Okay, so lure an enemy over to the fireplace and it will kill it. So this works for every NPC because NPCs are fairly stupid in this game, if I may say so. But keep in mind that you will not get the experience for this, and I cannot actually show that because I haven't checked my previous XP levels. Let's do the same with another NPC. Let's grab this baby spider, or let him follow us.
Here comes the boy. Hello, boy.
956. He's dead. We are still at 956. So we don't get the XP. Even if you only get like 10 or 50 or something as minuscule as that of an XP when you kill an enemy, that is still necessary for you to get a healthy, big Amshigar. Alright, another thing is that if you have a melee weapon, this have been covered in the Hacktoberfest videos, in one of them, that the direction of where you are hitting depends on what your last movement is, or rather where you are moving when you press down the left mouse button. So I'm walking backwards and the bone will, or the melee weapon will go in the opposite direction. Moving back, the weapon will poke forward. And notice that I have moved forward a bit after pressing the mouse button, but that didn't count because I have already registered my previous movement. Moving backwards, pressing the mouse button, and then afterwards I can move anywhere I want. The weapon will poke forward. And if I go to the left, then the weapon will strike from the right. Going right, the weapon will strike from the left. And if your weapon breaks and you have a similar weapon in your inventory, which in this case I had another bone, then that will be used as a replacement and Amshigar will automatically equip it, but you have to pick it up again from your inventory. It will not get automatically holstered. And the last movement is if you move forward, then the weapon will turn into this whacking from above motion. One more tip that is not self-explanatory is that the longer you hold down the left mouse button, the harder the weapon will hit. As you can see, there's an indicator at the bottom of the screen which lights up to this maximum lightness when you have the maximum attack. You don't have to wait for a weapon to be fully charged, but it's supposed to have the full attack power or capacity when you wait a bit. So it's a bit like Minecraft's new combat update. You have to wait a bit. In this case, this was a little hit, and then this will be a large hit. And there's actually a substantial difference between the two ends of this spectrum, because the smallest hit will be 10% power of the maximum hit or damage that the weapon can do. The next subject I want to talk about is the hunger system, which I purposefully left out from the Crash Course video because it is such a minuscule part of the game. Basically, Amshigar has an internal hunger meter that is not visible on the UI, and from time to time Amshigar is going to tell you that he is hungry. If you keep pressing F11 inside Arx Libertatis, this will not work in Arx Fatalis, and in the left panel, in this middle section, you can see a couple of player-related metrics like position, rotation, and whatnot. And the second one in the lower section, just above magic, is hunger. And you can see that for me, at the moment, it is 31 and is going to go just below that. And if you eat some very simple foods like this cooked rat rib, then it will heal you a bit, or it will increase this meter. And as you can see, it is now 38, almost 39, and now it is 46. You don't have to keep feeding Amshigar to be very full, because the only thing that will happen when it reaches 0 is that Amshigar will gradually start to lose HP, and that will be a very, very slow progress. And if Amshigar takes any damage, then he will not heal. One of the most important runes that you can get in the game later on are the... Next to the armor rune is the Vitai and Kosum rune, because it will give you access to this feed spell and it will fill Amshigar to the full. Vitai Kosum. Amshigar's hunger is at 46, just below that. So Vitai and Kosum, and keep your eyes on the hunger next to this cursor here. It will pop right up to 99. And there you go. You no longer need to eat any food afterwards. You can sell everything and make a good profit of it. So yeah, try to acquire these runes as fast as possible. The Vitai, you can get this from Maria, and the next one is Kosum, and you have to get that from the Agba temple. You will visit it quite early in the game. Another tip that I got in the comments is that you should keep an eye out for these items or these structures on all levels, because what these are teleports, and you will be able to move fairly quickly between all levels of the game. Just activate these as soon as possible, because traveling throughout multiple levels in the game will become very tedious, and this will be very helpful in the long run. I have snuck into Felnor's alchemy lab with the purpose of telling you guys how to do alchemy and demystifying this whole process of brewing potions and what to do with these specific plants, and I'm a bit nervous because Felnor is watching me from behind and he's the expert, so hopefully I will not mess things up. But back to the main subject. The 5 plants that you can collect throughout the whole game is these 5 in front of me. The first one is the fern, and then we have some medicinal herbs. Water lily can be mostly found in wet areas. Morning glory flower, and then the last one, the snowdrop flower, is the rarest of them all and can be found in icy areas. If you take a mortar and pestle and combine it with any of these plants, then you will get the corresponding powder. For example, a fern will become fern powder, and medicinal herb becomes antidote powder. Water lily becomes just water lily powder, and then morning glory powder, and then you will get cocaine. I mean snowdrop powder. And if you combine these powders with bottles, empty bottles to be specific, then you will get the bottle full of green powder, purple powder, orange powder, blue powder, and white powder. Very intuitive, and at this point probably most of you guys give up on alchemy and don't know how to progress. But don't worry, later as you progress with the game, you will find this contraption, which is called a still, and it is used for brewing potions. Interestingly, you don't need to combine these bottles with water, these can just stay dried. The rest of the work will be done with this still. And in order to brew these potions, you need to keep an eye out for your object knowledge skill. For example, brewing the simplest potion, this green powder, requires 30 object knowledge. If you don't have that, then Amshigar will just complain. Let me show you that. Oh, very good. It also picked up the powder. Whatever.
I do not yet have the skill to do that.
It will inform you that this requires 30 object knowledge. Okay. Very nice. We brewed our first potion. This is a poisonous potion. Very useless. You can combine this with weapons or arrows, and then it will poison the enemies for sometimes, depending on your skills. So in order to brew these other potions, you will need 10 more points. For the purple potion you need 40 object knowledge, then 50 for the orange, 60 for the blue, and the most expensive one, this white powder, will require you to have 70 object knowledge. So the first one is the poisonous potion, the next one is the cure poison potion, then we have a life potion, a mana potion, and then a potion of invisibility. Not invincibility, which you would expect in such high tier, but simply potion of invisibility. One irritating aspect of the game is that if you are brewing an item from a stack, then while that item is brewing, then the whole stack gets disabled until the brewing is done. And also the brewing stand will get disabled. So what you can do in this case, check this out. You can just prepare with double clicking on a different stack, and you can alternate between preparing different stacks, one after another. This is the fastest way of brewing potions, and I think this technique can be used when you are working with combination locks. Here you see a combination lock containing 3 digits, and the same disabling mechanism is applied for the buttons. So I keep clicking like there's no tomorrow, but I have to wait for the animation or the sound or whatever is occupying the button in the background, but I have to keep waiting until that's done with rotating the number. So what you can do is that, let's say I want to enter the number 555, I can alternate between 2 adjacent buttons to do something while one number is making its change. Much faster than having to wait for one digit to finish rotating. As I mentioned in the Crash Course video, you will constantly battle with storage space in the beginning of the game until you find a backpack. You can press F on it and it will get applied, and then you will get extra storage space. One side note is that the maximum backpacks that you can carry around, including your starting pack, is 3. So if you already have 3 bags, then don't go buy a 4th one, because you will not be able to apply that and you will just get stuck with an unnecessary extra bag. And, well, what do you know? Here is an extra bag. Don't mind if I steal that. Okay, now I have the maximum inventory capacity that I have. And one very obscure feature of the game that I have learned about at a very, very late age is that if you go over to your belt icon, and then I mentioned that you can double click on it to get your inventory sorted, but if you press F on it, then you can toggle between viewing a single inventory and viewing all the inventories at once. So this is very good when you want to move stuff from one inventory to another. So again, inventory icon, double click to get items sorted, and press F to toggle between viewing a single bag and viewing all the bags. And a couple of random tips for anyone who is working on the Troll Idol mission. First of all, a little extra is that don't forget to check under the king's bed. It's the most obscure location to place a paper. And another one is that thanks to interval I got knowledge of this little thing here like a month ago, no sooner, is that you don't have to wait for the cook to come by with a fresh set of pies for the king. You can grab a pie yourself and combine it with the door to give the pie to the king. So you can feed the king. I have to give credit where credit is due. Most of my knowledge's foundation is coming from this unofficial guide to Arx Fatalis made by RPGDot, and it was created in 2003, and this contains every bit of information an Arx player could ever dream of. First of all, it contains a full, detailed walkthrough on how to progress with the main missions. It also describes some of the side quests that you can pick up. For example, here's Oliver's treasure hunt. And then there are some other stuff like how to rob the bank and other guides like that. And then there is the maps for every level with detailed description and legends for all the levels, indicating what to keep an eye out for, why is that specific location important, or if you want to go there, then what is that. For example, 25 in this map is going to be Felnor's bedroom open with key from Felnor. So Felnor has the key to his own bedroom. Bruh. And then you have statistics and information for every single weapon in the game, every armor and their statistics, what buffs it will give to you. And also you will get infos for specific runes or the spells that you get in the book, including the hidden spells. So I didn't find out the hidden spells in my earliest videos. I merely echoed what can be read in this guide in a video form. I will place a link to the description, grab it, take a look at it, and just drop a message in the comment section on what stuff it told you, what new stuff you learned from this, because there is always something new to learn about this game. Alright guys, I think this is it for my video. I hope I've managed to show you guys something that you didn't know about the game. I wish you all happy holidays and also a happy new year, a happy 2024, and I will see you all next year. But until then, keep playing Arx and give all the goblins lovely caps for Christmas. Bye bye guys. Bless you.
Ah, human. Yeah. You not mess with us, human.